A large COVID cluster has been tied to a church service in Hendersonville, forcing them to temporarily shut down.
News 13's Rosie Woods looks at how some churches plan to keep parishioners safe during gatherings this holiday season.
The health department told me that there have been over 70 COVID cases related to the event that happened right here at this church. Other churches in the area say they will be social distancing. Health officials say a concert with over 400 attendees at Hendersonville First Baptist Church led to a large COVID-19 cluster.
We were made aware of an event that happened at First Baptist Church, part of a Christmas celebration. And we currently have a total case count of 72 cases tied to that particular event.
The church refused to go on camera but posted a statement on their website. It reads in part, "With a strong sense of unity, our ministers and deacons have decided to put our church on a 30-day pause in regard to on-site worship. This also includes all ministry activities." They go on to say they will look at conditions in mid-January to see how and when they should move forward.
Christmas is generally a time when we get together, we gather together in groups and we celebrate, especially in religious settings. So I would just remind people that you can still do that safely by minding the 3 W's. So if you can do your 6 foot of distancing from each other, you can wear masks and wash your hands. That definitely makes things safer.
Other churches in the area, like Arden First Baptist Church, are taking extra precautions this year. Social distancing, sanitizing, and setting up different zones.
We just say we have 4 options. You have the online for those who are really high at risk. Then you have the red zone for the next tier that want to come, but they're really, vulnerable to the virus, so that they're in the back. And then the yellow zone are those who are cautious, but they come with masks. And then the green zone are people that are more, they're going to be wise and stuff, but we spread them out a little further with social distancing.
This specific church has even put in special air filters and removed pews, opting to put in new chairs that are all separated at least 6 feet apart from each other instead. But the health department tells us the only real way to prevent another large spread is to stay home.
We still advise against large gatherings because it does contribute to the spread of COVID-19 in the community, and really only socializing with those within your own household.
Shortly after COVID-19 hit, the U.S. assistance programs became available for families struggling financially.
As we enter the new year, many of those programs are expiring. News 13's Taylor Young explains how many families in Buncombe County were helped and what's next for those who still need assistance.
Towns across the U.S. facing an economic downfall as a result of COVID.
I think the pandemic hit Buncombe County and the city of Asheville really hard. It was kind of a perfect storm.
According to the county, in 2017, tourism was the 3rd largest employer in the area. Today, it's one of the largest industries impacted by the pandemic, contributing to the loss of millions of jobs across the U.S.
People have not paid utility bills for months and months and months.
In September, Buncombe County created the COVID Housing Assistance Program, funded by the federal government's original stimulus package.
We've been helping individuals and families with rent or utilities or mortgage.
Applications for the program expired Wednesday, a deadline set to give staff enough time to process applications and administer funds.
We had a pretty steady increase initially when we first started, and then it slowed down a little bit.
Economic Services Director Philip Hardin says in recent weeks they've seen a major increase in applications.
I think some of that's driven by the CDC's moratorium on evictions expires January 1st.
As of Wednesday, the county approved about $575,000 to help upwards of 500 people. Each person could receive up to $1,500, but Hardin says he approved additional money for some applicants.
Mainly because it's expensive to live in Asheville and Buncombe County, and people owed large amounts on rent.
The federal government requires all funds to be given out by December 30th.
One school semester ends soon and another will soon start. So what are the lessons learned about teaching methods during a pandemic?
Haywood County school leaders sent out a survey to find out. News 13's Rex Hodge has a look at the results.
Instruction in Haywood County right now is all in person at the elementary school level and blended at the middle and high school levels. The results of the survey will help district leaders plan for the semester ahead.
I'm glad to have them back in full-time learning.
Jessica Wolfrey has a 9-year-old daughter at Junaluska Elementary.
Is that I want them to go full-time. I think instruction is better.
That's what she said on the school district survey. 56% of parents preferring face-to-face teaching.
Every group said that students during COVID really should be learning in person.
The superintendent says students surveyed are evenly split between in-person and remote learning during the pandemic.
Teachers wanted in person, but they had asked about additional remote days.
Bill Nolte says they also prefer teaching on alternating days instead of the current alternating weeks. The school board this week choosing to leave the current system in place, adding 1 remote day a month so teachers have more time for planning. Nolte knows the pandemic is fluid with more cases now and vaccines coming.
We know we may have to do things based upon governor's orders or cases going way up or cases going way down.
He says the survey still shows concerns.
We have some people who are concerned about disinfectant.
Nolte says the teaching models are not ideal. In normal years, failure rates at the high schools are 5 to 10%. They're up to 15 to 16%, but Nolte says they could have been much worse and credits dedicated teachers.
And I think, our students will come out of this a lot better than students in other places.
But there's also concern about case surges after the holiday and possible impacts.
We've known that staffing will be or could be an issue at some point.
Variables that could alter the style of teaching.
If we have to go back to virtual, we will make it work the best that we can.
District leaders will be keeping a close eye on the holiday period ahead and adjusting to any significant increases in COVID cases as the new year begins.